Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be swapping our normal Fusion seats to these gorgeous and extremely hard to find Center Stage Edition seats out of this Lincoln MKZ. Now these seats do have all the same features as my titanium seats, but they do have one extra in that they have a cooling feature. However, a little teaser for an upcoming video, I am currently working on the Tesla screen install as well. I do have a little issue that I'm dealing with, so I'm talking to Phoenix Automotive about it, but basically we need this like fully functional before we can actually start adding the extra features. So as of right now, it's just going to be a more casual swap. Now usually when you're pulling seats out of a car, if they're power seats, you want to fold them forward so that whenever you're pulling them out, it's not going to give you too hard of a job and that they're extended. And then also whenever they're sitting down, just like on the ground, it's not going to fall over. But because I do want to give these a good deep clean, I'm going to make it a little bit more difficult for myself and actually recline it back a little bit. The best note is that these all work and everything, because occasionally vehicles just sitting at salvage yards and insurance auctions and whatnot will occasionally have these things just stop working altogether. It is absolutely filthy in here. This is the main area I couldn't really clean early on just because it was directly under the seat, but I'm already making some of my money back, so I'm pretty happy with that. This vehicle had to be used for lift or something because the amount of coins that I'm finding, and not just like casual coins, like a lot of those are quarters. So I'm happy about that, but it's raising more questions than anything. So I'm gonna get started cleaning these. I left the two rear seat backs in the vehicle just because those are gonna take a little bit more effort to take out, and don't really want to put all that in just yet because it's still pretty hot. So we're gonna focus on these because my main goal is really just these two for right now. So we're gonna clean them up and get them all functional and everything. This one, I did notice that for the heated seat section, it does have these little plugs, which means we're probably gonna have to pull pieces from the harness if we want to do it the like full-on factory way, which I'll see how far they go. If they're not like very long, then I might try to do that. But either way, we got the majority of the seats out and they're pretty gross, not gonna lie. But as for like canvases for good quality seats, they are pretty solid. Now for cleaning these seats, it shouldn't be super complex. The leather aspects are probably gonna be pretty easy because most car cleaning products will take care of that pretty easily. And then the base, it's a lot of plastic, so that should be pretty easy as well. Where we are gonna need to put a little bit more attention to detail is with the Alcantara inserts, because with those, you can't saturate them too much, you can't agitate them too much, and then on top of that, you really can't add too much heat. So it kind of takes away a lot of the general avenues for cleaning these things. So what we're gonna be doing is using this 10-to-1 all-purpose cleaner. It's basically that little Mr. Clean one right there. And we're basically just gonna spray small little sections, and we are gonna be working it in with this brush. Yes, this is a makeup brush. I could not find any other ones. And once it's basically set, we're gonna use a microfiber towel and basically just wipe it down.
A few moments later.
And the seats are looking a lot better. I'm definitely gonna wanna give them some more attention whenever I have them in the vehicle and I can devote a little bit more time to it. But all in all, they are relatively clean and they smell a lot better, which is a big plus. But one of the best things is that they do still have the look and feel of Alcantara, even for possibly not having the best previous history. Absolutely love that. There's actually red inside like the little perforation aspect of the insert, which I think looks so cool because you don't really see too many examples of these seats, so there's not too much perspective on it. But you can see like right here, you see that little red gradient. It's because you do have to be like directly on it to be able to see it. You can actually see it right here. So we basically have the casual Alcantara pattern right here. As you start moving it back, you see that red come through, and that is just so nice. So little subtle accent that I just really like that I did not know these seats had. This section looks like it'll swap in as well. This is the upper section of the B-pillar panel, and it just looks a lot cleaner. I really like this little section right here. So let's see if it fits. I am feeling very defeated right now. I've been filming for like the past 2 hours of just swapping components to get the B-pillar panels swapped into the Fusion, just to find out that the clips are all very, very subtly not in the same spot. Like they're an inch to the left or to the right or up or down. And it really sucks because like this looks so much better than what we got just from the factory. Like it's all blacked out. You get the nice Alcantara, nice little center bezel section thing. I don't know what you want to call it. I just really like that look, and it won't work. Just because, again, all the clips are very subtly different than the Fusion ones. Like you can see it right here. They look so similar, and it's just so annoying that it's that very subtle differences here that make it to where it won't work. So rather than doing like a complete button up, which was the goal initially, I'm gonna see what I can do, but for the most part, our main goal for this video now is just gonna be to swap everything in. So I'm probably just gonna start with this, just because this is just 2 pieces and I can just throw it in real quick. All right, we've got the back seat bottom in. The back of the driver's seat is in. We just need to reconnect power so that we can slide it the other direction and mount the bolts up front. That looks awesome. That with the screen, it's gonna look so nice when it's all put together. And let's just make sure it works, because you never know. All right, sweet. Everything seems to be working normally. So we got this one in. Let's just keep sliding it back so I can do the bolts up front. Now, the one thing that might come up is I might need to replace the airbag sensor for the passenger side. Supposedly for the MKZ, it's a very subtly different setup, so your airbag light will come on if you don't swap it, from what I've seen online. Granted, I do want to test it out without trying it first, just to see if maybe it's more of a case-by-case scenario. However, if we do need to swap it, I do have an extra, and we can just throw it in. Shouldn't take more than 15 minutes.
Later.
Okay, I've got it more or less casually set up, mainly just I don't want to button everything down if it's going to give me the airbag light. So, let's start it up. So we had it on startup, which is basically what it does usually.
Continuous recording will now start.
Thanks. And it is not on. So we might be good. Let me actually put my seatbelt on. I will say that I did make it a point to disconnect the battery before even unplugging it, so that might be where some situations come up. Granted, it also might just be case by case. I'm not really sure, but if it's not giving me the airbag light, that means we're good to go. So these are all the non-pennies that I found in the car. A couple pennies made it through, but it's predominantly quarters, nickels, and dimes. I'm just letting it sit in this cleaning solution because they were pretty gross and gunky, and a lot of them were sticky. I really didn't want to deal with that, so this is just kind of the more casual way to go about it. But if any of you guys want to guess the amounts of money in here, without the pennies, of course, if anybody guesses it right, you will get a shout out in the next video. Here we have the last piece. This is the single seat back for the rear seat. And one thing I noticed is that it has this plug actually connected to it. So I did see this and I disconnected it earlier, and I thought that this was basically connecting the heated seat aspect to power. Turns out that's not the case, so it basically just goes to this seat. So I'm thinking that what it is the seat back itself is heated also, which would be really cool if we can figure all that out, but it's a little bit more diagnosing than I thought it was going to be, so we're going to need to do that a little bit later. Granted, I am going to be pulling a bunch of parts from the car, so we'll be able to expose a lot more wires and whatnot, but if that's the case, this is going to be really cool. But it's also going to be a lot of work. But other than that, let's get this in the car and we will be wrapped up on the seat install. And you guys, those are the seats installed in the car. So my initial impressions on the seats are, one, they don't get hot as easily, which, I mean, the old seats were leather, so, you know, it kind of makes sense. This is just this nice Alcantara, so it's not going to grab as much heat. But the other thing is that it also feels kind of like you're getting a little bit more cushion, in the sense that you're not really sliding around, but again, it's going to be the fabric difference. I really like them. I feel like they're really comfortable. I'm still going to give them some more time to get the full aspects of how they actually feel and, you know, just ins and outs of them. And now I do need to secure the footwell lights. But biggest note for the back is that it's actually a direct swap. So there have been some questions about like the dimensions and everything. It's exactly the same, which makes it just so easy. All the bolts line up, and it's a very easy install process as well. Now, I am going to be trying to figure out what I can do with the heated seats whenever I get back, but as for right now, the rear seats are in and they're looking awesome. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.